Hello, sorcerers. If you're fans of the source videos and the content that I produce, I have some good news for you. The vendor management video that I did last week, there was so much content in there that I felt that I needed to split it up a little bit while I was editing. This was not intentional, but there is a section that I covered about supplier lifecycle management that I thought would be better as a standalone video. And I am filming a new intro, so you're not just wondering, why is he suddenly jumping into this content? It was part of the previous video. You'll see it was filmed during the previous video. I'm wearing a different outfit, and I purposely didn't attempt to match the outfit. I want you guys to know that I split it up. So yeah, I'm setting you up for a vendor lifecycle management video. It's not very long, but it does organize it into 6 sections. So I hope you like it. Thanks for watching, and let's learn about some lifecycle management. Like all things when you're talking about corporate structure, there is a life cycle to vendor management. Point number 1, scoping. It's understanding what your customer and what your company needs. Identifying suppliers who can perform those services or provide those products. Engaging, RFPing, and you may be working with your sourcing counterparts. Bringing that supplier in, making sure that you have a strong governance structure, right? It's bringing them in, making sure that they are compatible with your company and that you will have a good relationship. That is scoping. Part of understanding if they're going to be a good fit for your company is determining their risk. Understanding where the company is in the market, what their financial performance is, whether or not they're at risk for an acquisition, whether or not they're at risk for financial failure, whether or not they want to accept your paper. That is a tremendous indication if a supplier is going to be difficult to work with, if they won't even look at your paper, your contracts, your information protection, your security concerns. If they immediately start pushing back, that is a problem. You should also understand if they've had a breach or some kind of IP issue in the past. Part 3 of the life cycle is doing your due diligence. And again, that's connected with risk, but you take it even further. When you identify a risk, maybe you need to move forward with that supplier, and it's identifying controls that can manage those risks, whether it's limitation of liability, whether it's some additional governance structure. You're taking it a step further if you have to engage with that particular supplier, or if there's a strong desire to do so. As you get into the vendor selection process, this is again where you need to put strong governance into your contract paperwork. It's strong governance on your liability language and putting all of the things that you need in place with the master services agreement with this supplier so you don't run into trouble later. It's identifying who the relationship manager is or the vendor manager and making sure there is immediately tight governance when you're engaging with that supplier. If you're investing in a one-on-one relationship between a vendor manager and a vendor, that's a pretty good indication that the goods or services that the vendor is providing is mission critical to your business. So you have to understand those critical levers and understand that if the company fails to provide the good or service, what will happen to the business? After you've onboarded, the next piece is the ongoing monitoring and maintenance. You're checking those SLAs. You're checking to see if the supplier has introduced new risk. The acquisition cycles, the financial concerns, all of those pieces. Checking with your customers to see if they're performing, checking the SLAs. Those are all the components of making sure that you have a healthy relationship with that supplier and you're constantly monitoring and you're constantly adjusting if things aren't working. And if things aren't working, the final step is termination. So one thing that I did forget to say is you have to make sure in your contract language you have the right to terminate, either for cause or for convenience or whatever it may be. A lot of suppliers don't like to do convenience anymore. We've talked about that before. But regardless of the termination trigger, you have to know what that is, and you have to know what conditions at the very beginning of when you would execute that. So it might be that you don't have the right to terminate for convenience, and you know that you have to wait until the contract is ready to expire. You have to understand how much notification you have to provide the supplier before you can terminate. You don't want ever an auto renewal, but you have to check all of those things. And again, if this is a major relationship, if this is a major contract, you should not be terminating or deciding to terminate with less than 6 months notice or 6 months strategy. Probably even longer. Most definitely even longer. Okay, so that was the 6 steps of supplier lifecycle management. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked that I split it up and didn't torture you with 20 or 30-minute videos in one shot. I thought it was better to split it up. Thank you for watching. I will be back with another video soon. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Take care.